What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Breaking News Show. This is me, Dan, and Sam. It's Real Reds Talk. We're about to discuss the ownership, dive into it together.
We want Blaze House and we want Blaze House. We want Blaze House and we want Blaze House. We want Blaze House and we want Blaze House.
Yes, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to your favourite football fan channel. It's absolutely mental at the minute. It's all going off today. Twitter. I've never seen Twitter as active in my life, and the ownership hasn't even been announced. God knows what it's going to be like when it actually gets announced. But we have had updates on the ownership. We're certainly going to discuss that, and we're going to start off with that very shortly. We've got some updates to Harry Maguire's future. Apparently wants to stay at Manchester United. United are going to send Mason Greenwood on loan. That's another development. And we've got some more developments on Mason Mount as well. So as always, guys, make sure you are smashing a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to become a Real Red Ultra member, the members video dropped yesterday on Amad Diallo. Click that join button next to the notification bell. There's one spot left in the starting 11, so make sure you get on that. Right, ownership update. Let's just dive into this. I've got a feeling we might be talking about this for a while. So, David Ornstein dropped a little bit of a bombshell today, lads. And his article, I've basically took a few quotes from it, but the outstanding ones. Paris Saint-Germain president Nasser Al-Khelaifi was contacted by the Glazers in an attempt to persuade Sheikh Jassim to increase his bid. Al-Khelaifi, acting as an advisory role for Sheikh Jassim's bid, has met the Glazers and the Rain Group. Sheikh Jassim himself has played no personal role in negotiations with Rain or the Glazer family for Manchester United, leaving that to the legal firm McFarland and his financial advisors at the Bank of America. Laurie Whitwell also put a tweet out as well, which I thought was interesting. But fascinating dynamic at play, with questions being asked at a high level in football about who is driving Sheikh Jassim's bid for United. He's had no direct role in negotiations, but Ratcliffe's team's confident of success. But the fifth Qatar offer said to be significant. Sam, those last two lines of Laurie Whitwell tweets, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Laurie, also friend of the show, he's been on the channel. And the guy's legit. He's got legit sources. Doesn't normally put something out unless he's 100% sure, unless he knows what he's talking about and he can back it up. I think it's starting to emerge now that the Glazers have been stringing along Sir Jim Ratcliffe, hoping that they can get the Qataris to up the bid to $6 billion. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like they've got both guys on the back burner and playing Sir Jim Ratcliffe, going, no, you're the preferred bidder, blah, 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 all the while hoping that the Qataris are going to give him the full $6 billion so they can walk away into the sunset with the $6 billion, which is what they want. I think there's some feedback from your speakers, Dan, by the way, just so you know. I think they're doing that in the hopes thing. Then obviously they've got is it Al-Khelaifi? I think is he called Al-Khelaifi? Yeah. This PSG guy. They've got him involved as well. So to maybe speak to Sheikh Jassim, I assume they know each other through some form of another. Qatar's a small country, powerful people know each other. So I think that's what they've been doing this whole time, hoping that Qatar is going to go up. Obviously, they haven't got up to the $6 billion, but this is their take it or leave it. Whether you believe that or not, I don't know. But that's what it seems like to me. That seems to be where it's heading at this point.
Well, it is Friday night, so make sure you get your bitters in because we've got a lot to discuss. Dan, how do you feel about this news being reported? Because the way it's felt for the past couple of weeks at least, is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is in the lead. It looks like everything's going to be finalised. This final bid goes in. And now there's talk that this is a significant bid, that he's working with Al-Khelaifi. Like, it's all going off at the minute. So how do you feel about this current situation at the moment?
Yeah, I personally feel that it's, I think the situation is under Glazers' control. So they are just playing it around and just trying to find, to make a situation where they can get as maximum as possible the amount from any of the bidders. So, and they personally may think like the only amount they can get from, what they are expecting around 6 billion, they can only get it from Qataris, and I don't think Ratcliffe can give them 6 billion, but Qataris definitely can give them. So that's why they might be using Ratcliffe just to increase that bid and bring Qataris to that level of 6 billion, and then maybe close the deal. But yeah, it's now at this time. From even though there have been, rumors that where Qataris has mentioned like saying that it's just like a take or leave bid, but at the same time, they would not want, to miss this opportunity just for, for few, point 0.02 billion or somewhere around 0.2 billion. So I think definitely all the sides parties are interested, and still they may increase. But at this point, I think Qatari can give what Glazers want, and that's where Glazers are heading towards.
This is such a weird dynamic because it's from November when it got announced. Every single fan, at least what you can see on social media, people I've spoken to in person, have been like this everywhere, being dragged left, right, centre. No one has a fucking clue what's going on. Let's be clear about that. No one has a clue, to be honest, what's going on, like what's actually genuinely going on, because the Glazers are keeping the cards very close. Everyone at Reign is probably signed like an NDA. Sheikhs, Jassim's, the people who are advising for him is probably signed an NDA, and the same with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So we're trying to pull the little bits we possibly can here, and little gems like this from David Ornstein helps out the situation, I suppose, because everybody was believing Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the favourite. But the reason why I mentioned like variables in this situation, Sam, one of the things that's being discussed is the dynamic of multi-club ownership. This is the thing that people are pushing out there, and what Premier League kind of leaders are concerned about, the fact that this is basically state-owned and it's coming through the same person that owns PSG, QIA, etc. Is that really matter, though, when Sir Jim Ratcliffe owns Nice? So aren't they in the same boat in that sense?
It does seem to be a bit of a contradiction, doesn't it? People are bothered about a two-club ownership model by the same people, whereas Sir Jim Ratcliffe owns Nice, and I don't think they're in the Champions League, but they're in the Europa League, aren't they? So if United hadn't qualified for the Champions League, they would be in the same competition, and then there would be an issue sporting wise. Like, and I think one of them or both could be suspended from the competition. I'm not sure what the punishment would be, but I assume there'll be some sort of sanction. Also, there's the fact that the state owned as well. That's the biggest issue for me. The multiple club thing is one thing, but the state ownership is the other. Like the fact that people actually believe that the Sheikh Jassim guy is a wealthy individual and he's not related to the state of Qatar in any way, when his dad's the prime minister or the president or the sort of head of the country, and he was the head of the Islamic Bank, which is the main bank running in Qatar. Like, put two and two together, this is a state ownership in everything but name. He might be a fan of United. I don't know that. Could be. I'm not sure. We don't know much about the guy, to be honest with you. But this is going to be a state-owned club if they succeed. Much like PSG is. PSG is a state-owned club. I know they're saying it's owned by QS. Is it QSI or QI? Which one is it?
QIA.
QIA. I know they're saying it's Qatari investment. It's not. It's a state-owned club. Like, let's just be real about it. Much like Newcastle is a state-owned club. Much like City is a state-owned club. They all say, oh no, it's done by this foundation who are from this country, but it's private, wealthy individuals, but it's not. The state-owned, and that's the way football is going at the minute, sadly. So the two-club model is an issue, because then it does cause a conflict of interest, because if both your teams then end up playing each other in a semi-final and a final, like, do you know what I mean? There's a conflict there. You can't have that in competition in the interest of fair competition. So that is an issue. I don't believe there would be a conflict on the Qatari side between, because they're two separate individuals. However, there might be some dodgy dealings in the, like, you could probably see, very easy transfers from PSG happening to United, or very easy transfers from United to PSG, or loans. Do you know what I mean? You can see a lot of that stuff going on.
Funneling.
Yeah, just that sort of stuff. That is an issue as well. That would be a serious issue. So yeah, there's a lot of problems with pretty much either one owning a club. It's not about a Qatar or an English thing. It's about the sense of competition, the fact that they're owning 2 clubs, and state ownership. They're the 2 issues I have. It's not about where they're from. Like, it's about those 2 things for me. So they both need to be looked at. But as we know, money talks. The British government pushed through and put pressure on the Premier League to accept the Saudi Arabia bid for Newcastle, because the Premier League were against it and they wanted to stop it. British government was afraid that they would lose trade with Saudi Arabia, so they put pressure on the Premier League to accept it and let them in. I have a feeling it'll be the same thing, because I know there's a lot of Qatari people involved in London, in property and different things. I'm sure there was a couple of back payments for the British government when Qatar got the World Cup and etc. like that. So I think if it got to that point, and all these, because I've seen a couple of reports saying the Premier League needs to know where this money's coming from, I'm sure the British government will get involved again and just be like, let it go through. So
I like the thing you mentioned as well about this isn't a Qatar thing, it's not an English thing, because there's this kind of xenophobic narrative that's being pushed. It's absolutely nothing to do with that. If you actually really dive deep into it and what state ownership means and sports washing and things like that, a club like Manchester United, with its history, with everything that's tied to us, should never ever have to go into that. Now, unfortunately, because of the financial circumstances and what the Glazers have put us through, from buying the club on debt, all the money that they've kind of taken out of the club and the loans they've put against the club, we're now in £1.2 billion debt, or something along the lines of that. So significant cash injection is needed. Whether Sir Jim Ratcliffe would do that or not is yet to be seen. But we've only heard a kind of concrete 10-step plan from Sheikh Jassim. We haven't seen one. The only thing we've seen from Sir Jim was, I want to put the Manchester back in United. That's all I've seen.
I don't know if you're going to get into it later, but there's potentially issues if Sir Jim takes over. I don't know if you got that up, or you're going to get into it later. One hedge fund with a large stake in the club is United, and Glazers are registered. Shocking.
Okay, now.
Shocking. When Man United is incorporated, to figure out how they might build a case against manoeuvres by the Glazers or Ratcliffe. So basically, he could be in deep shit if he takes over the club and then basically excludes all the minority investors, because the Glazers are obviously, is it 69% they own, I believe, of the club, and then there's minority other investors. So if they're excluded from any sort of sale and stuff and shut out, basically, there could be legal troubles there as well. So even Sir Jim Radcliffe's bid is not safe of any legal issues either. So we're both fucked both ways. Anyway we go, we're fucked. God, so man. It just gets worse. Just gets worse.
Yeah.
What an absolute fucking mess this is, by the way. Yeah. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, the thing is, that's why I've never been in favor of Ratcliffe getting his deal done in the club, because if he would have been taking control 100% of the club, I would have been behind him for this deal. But it seems like if he succeeds in this type of a deal, then we could be in even worse situation while only having Glazers at this moment. So at this point of time, we know that whom to blame. But if Ratcliffe comes in and still Glazers are here, they'll be like playing the blame game, and at the end of the day, only fans will be going to suffer for that kind of situations. So that's one of the main reason why I never lean towards Ratcliffe. I mean, Qataris can give the club what they want. I mean, in terms of all the financial thing and all, but I know I can understand why some of the people are not towards Qataris because of some, the humanitarian ground, but nobody is clean, to be honest. No, none of the owners, I don't think they are clean. They have to do something to come up up the ladder, to climb up the ladder. So the thing is, now that's the whole story of my mind. What is there in my mind? That's why I'm leaning towards Qataris.
Yeah. Well, we've got 28 people in the chat. Let us know your opinions. Very quiet. Let us know, please, why you want. If you want Sir Jim Ratcliffe, why you want him. If you want Qatar, why you want them. Are you worried about this kind of multi-club ownership? I think that the timing of this as well has been discussed. Sam, apparently people have known about this for weeks in terms of Al Khalifa being involved and being kind of like the middleman for Sheikh Jassim.
It was a month ago.
Yeah. But in my personal opinion, I don't think David Ornstein's going to drop an exclusive story about this Al Khalifa, whatever his name is, about him helping out with a bid for it only to be a month old. Is that just me, or do you subscribe to that as well?
I think there's reasons. He must have heard about it whenever it happened, but he must have not had the necessary evidence in order to put that story out, because we know what the Athletic like. They only put stuff out if they're 100% sure, and they can back up what they say. They're not one of these like Twitter accounts or these like the Sun and stuff where they'll just chuck stuff out to be first, or to be exclusive here, we said it first, and then they turn out to be wrong half the time, and it's PR spin. Like, we spoke to Laurie, I think I asked him this very question when we spoke to Laurie, like, is it hard to sit on information that you know is correct, but you can't put it out until you back it and you can fact check it? So that's the way they put it out. So there must be a reason why he's put it out, whether it's to do with the fact that this bid deadline is today, and maybe the Glazers have gone back to Sheikh Jassim's team and said, look, we've got your bid, we recognise it, we're communicating with you now just to keep those negotiations open. They don't necessarily have to say yes or no at this point. I think as long as they reply to him and give him some indication that they're open to continuing on, I think that, because the offer is still on the table regardless of whether they reply in it. It's just that he won't be involved in further negotiation if they don't reply. So it could be well to do with that, but Laurie Whitwell just like also backed up. He said like it's a significant bid, and the whole time the Athletic has been saying stuff. It's been, Sir Jim's the front runner. He's looking like he's the preferred bidder. Yeah. He's the one and stuff. The Qatari bid is interesting, but it's not, can't compete with Sir Jim's in terms of the money up front and then the money potentially down the line and keeping the Glazers on board and stuff like that, so they can't compete. So the only way for Qatar to come in and compete with it would be to just, here's $6 billion and just whack that on the table. That's the only way they're going to blow Sir Jim out of the water. But now with all this stuff going on, I'm starting to think that maybe they're just waiting for the Qataris to eventually get to $6 billion and just stringing Sir Jim along as an indicator to the Qataris, like going, look, if you don't up it, we're going to go this way. So just keep pushing it, and then they got Khalifi involved, etc. So it's business fuckery 101 by the Glazers, isn't it? That's what it is.
It really is. That's what's going on.
Yeah, coming back to David Ornstein's tweet, if I see it empathetical wise, if I keep myself in Ornstein's shoe, it could be a moment or an event that happened. One month back, and I'm started working on that event and just trying to get the news and the logics and the facts behind it. And after 1 month, it took me like 1 month to get to the end of that and find the legitimacy of that news. Then I'll be in a thought like whether to bring it out or just to just to cover it up. So, but then I'll think that I put all my works for the past 1 month, and I cannot let it go on waste and and throw it up in the air and let's see what happens.
That I'd agree with. I think that's a very smart approach as well, or smart opinion, should say. It's just the Laurie Whitwell, the second part of the tweet, that I'm kind of like looking at. Why would he say that's a significant, the Qatari bid, the new one, is significant? Like, it's someone like that who likes to be factual, likes to be accurate, as Sam was saying. It's just a little bit confusing to me, but it's been confusing for United fans for the past 7 months. This is the thing, like, it's for us, it's so mentally draining, especially when you're doing shows and you're doing stuff like I absolutely love doing this. But every single day, this is just like a roller coaster. You don't know whether it's which way it's going to turn, which way it's going to dip. Like, it's honestly an absolute minefield for fans, and I think they just fucking want the end of it. To be honest, that's just as simple as that.
This makes the Frankie de Jong thing that we went on about for 12 weeks seem like a holiday, doesn't it? Like, this is like, Jesus Christ. The Frankie de Jong, I'd rather do Frankie de Jong for another 12 weeks than this again. I can't be arsed with it. I can't be arsed.
Yeah. And what's interesting on this, Ben Jacobs, who's a financial journalist, had a few interesting quotes on the situation as well. And he mentioned there have been what I understand to be in-depth conversations and direct conversations between the Glazers and the 9-2 Foundation. All signs point to the fact that the Glazers are actually getting both groups to get deep into the process. If they greenlight one of them, they'll be in a position, transactionally speaking, to move as fast as possible. I think that's why both groups have been in the dark for so long.
Get the money as quick as possible, basically. Glazers, get the money in the pocket as quick as possible. Playing both off of each other, get them all the way to the finishing line, and it's like, right, who's got the most? You. In the bank.
I suppose that the fact that it'd be done quick in a transactional sense is a positive, and we can get things moving quickly. The last thing we want, it was just touching how long this process has been, is it to be announced and all United fans are like, yeah, celebrating, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but
it's going to take till next year. Next year,
yeah.
That's when it's going to happen. Okay.
The regulations that are in place, the Premier League will have to do the due diligence. They have to check this, check that, multi-club ownership, all this kind of bollocks. And then you just like...
Another year of stories, another year of articles of the process, and just
honestly,
fucking.
And the frustration will go at its peak if you come to know that Glazers are still staying and they are not accepting any bids.
Oh no, that I honestly, that's one thing I cannot see happening.
Dan,
genuinely,
the stadium will be burnt to the ground if that happens. Honest to God, they're getting out alive.
And I think they know that as well. They know if they went back on this now.
In FIFA, when you place a player, in a career mode, when you place a player in a transfer market and the player comes in to talk to you and you just mention, I'm just exploring the options.
Yeah.
Is it possible when Glazers come and say, we were just exploring the options? Yeah.
No, honestly, it'll make what happened at the Liverpool game like a tea party, mate. If they announced that, like, I can't imagine it. Laurie Whitwell's also mentioned development notes as well. It said sources predict Ten Hag's ambition could clash with the Glazers' caution and lead to friction if the team's reshuffle is delayed. So not only the fans getting frustrated, Eric Ten Hag's getting frustrated. I'm sure there's many people on the board that are getting frustrated. I think that's a massive point to all this, isn't it, Sam? Do you think once the actual window starts, it's one of them where it'll continue into the window? Or do you think, right, announce before and then it can be done?
I wouldn't be surprised if we start the season and it's still not done. It would not surprise me. Like honestly, it wouldn't. I don't care if it does. The thing I care about is if Ten Hag's plan and getting his players in and all that is affected. That's the important bit. Like if he doesn't get the players he wants and get them in early and get them into pre-season, get the team gelling, get all the stuff that he wants ready for the new season, then they could drag out as long as they want, as long as Ten Hag gets the stuff he needs, and then we can deal with that thing. But if it fucks up, if we're like going, we could go for this guy, but we don't really have the money until the ownership situation happens, so we're going to delay that and just wait until the ownership situation thing, that's when it becomes an issue, because Ten Hag needs significant backing and significant investment in his squad. He's already said that. I know there was an article on The Athletic again. I think it might have been Laurie Whitwell. It might have been somebody else. But he basically said he's been pushing for more. Like he mentioned beforehand, he wants a striker, a midfielder, and I think it was a right back. But now he's like demanding he wants a goalkeeper, he wants another centre back and a left winger as well. And he's been like in phone calls with Richard Arnold, John Murta saying, I need these as well. Like you need to get me these and you need to go out and do that. And there's a lot of noise about Harry Kane. Will he go? Will he not? Daniel Levy is difficult to deal with. And Ten Hag's pushing them to go, you need to go and try. You need to go make the approach. I want him. So Ten Hag's demanding, man. And after what he's done with his team, the way he's turned us around, the way he's got his playing, the results of the season, he needs to be backed. Like 100% needs to be backed. He needs to be given every tool at his disposal to succeed. Because if you do, he'll win shit. If you don't, we're going to end up with another Louis van Gaal situation, another Mourinho situation, where yet again, we succeeded in a season, got top 4, and then what happens after every summer when we do that? Manager don't get backed, does he? Like there was that season, was it Van Gaal where you got Lee Grant, Diego Dallo.
Mourinho, it would have been.
Mourinho, yeah. Lee Grant, Dallo, and then who was the other guy? Fred. And you're just like, that's not good enough, is it? Like, that's just not good enough.
Even Ollie's summer as well, when you got like Tellez, Cavani, Donny, and you're like, the board must be absolutely fucking shocked because Ollie's gone from, you're having Donny, mate, and he's like, great. And then you like Ten Hag, who's coming in and like, I want him, go get him now.
Yeah. Spend
this on him. This is what I demand. That's the difference. He's demanding. And to get them to done early on deals as well.
But if we end up, sorry, Dan, I'll let you go. But if we end up like, when's the new season start? August? Is that when it starts?
Yeah.
So we get to August and he's still only got like say one signing. Like, that's going to affect the team. Like, we're just going to be, like, it's going to affect the season, first couple of weeks, and then we eventually get them over the last minute. Then it takes them weeks to bed in. By that point, Liverpool are streaking away, Chelsea are streaking away, Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. They're already ahead of us. Liverpool are already doing it. They've signed Alexis McAllister already. It's done. They've already done it. It's like they've already started. So we need to get on our bikes.
Yeah, I was about to make the similar comments what Nick mentioned about like when in times of Oli, it was like whenever he wants a player, even if though he didn't get that player and he gets any other player, he would be saying like, okay, I'm fine with it. But Ten Hag is not like that. Not like that person. He wants more than more than the players or anybody else. He wants to save his name because that's the standard of him himself. So and he will not take it. Losing in the transfer business or in the coming season if he is not progressing, and he will not. If he has got the players and he has not succeeded, then that's fine for him. He's that kind of man. But if it is because of someone else's inability, he's not getting the results, then I know that he's kind of guy. He will not hold himself back from throwing his punches out. So but I still think that Ten Hag might already been there at the doors of Glazers or anyone on the board. To get the players and the deals done before the preseason start, because he's that kind of a manager who wants his team ready just before, at least before the preseason starts. And but before Ten Hag, like Oli, we were doing the business until even after the season is started of a couple of games. Even we got players like Ronaldo after the Premier League started. So but Ten Hag want his team to be ready well before the time, just to bring everyone up to the speed.
I'll tell you what, I'd love to be a fly on the wall with Ten Hag and Murta and Richard Arnold in a meeting right now to see what they're saying.
You know what?
Going absolutely.
There better be a documentary crew with either Sir Jim Radcliffe or with the Qatari people, because I need to see this documentary. I need to see it. Like, if nobody's doing it, I'll fucking do it. I'll come with the camera. I will cover all of this shit, because my word, this will be a gripping documentary series.
Yeah, they could actually make a Netflix thing out of all of it, like dramatize it, do the whole lot, because that's what it's been. It's been a fucking drama, and nothing's ever simple at Manchester United. That's how it is. And speaking of nothing ever being simple, apparently, lads, Harry Maguire isn't keen on departing the club this summer, despite being ostracised from the starting 11. Ten Hag wants to sell Harry Maguire to fund a move for Napoli star Kim Min-jae, and several clubs have taken interest in Maguire, including Tottenham and Aston Villa. But Maguire wants to stay at United and fight for his place, apparently. Sam, if Maguire had anything about him, and again, guys in the chat, get involved. Very quiet in the chat today. It's 20 of you. Please do like the video as well and subscribe. But yeah, if Maguire had anything about him, Sam, he'd surely look for first team football, right?
I don't think he sees the full picture of what's going on. I really don't. I think he's so blinders from like everything that's going on around him, because we've seen it in interviews when he spoke. He's gone, like, I bring it up all the time, like, I'm sick of saying it, but like under Ollie, they asked him, oh, you're having a bit of a tough season right now, you and the whole team. Is that affected your confidence or ability? He's like, no, I must be doing well because he's picking me every week. Just no accountability and no sort of just like, look at what's happening, mate. Like, there's a reason why you're getting picked every week, because he's made you captain and you're £80 million. Like, he can't drop you. This is why. It's not because you're playing well. It's not because you're great. Like, this is why. And now Ten Hag's dropped in, and you'd think, oh, the penny's dropped now. Like, Ten Hag, he's not played him. And then when he has had a chance to play him, he's played Luke Shaw over you, who's a left back. He's done that. The penny's dropped. But I think because he's still getting picked for England, I think in his head he's just like, oh yeah, no, I'm still good enough. I can fight my way back into this team. I think it's going to take like England dropping him, United dropping him, for him to go, okay, I am not doing well
and
here.
Someone close to him,
yeah,
like his mum or his...
Yeah, I need to sort something out here, because United's not playing me, England's not playing me. So something going on there for the penny to drop, because he's not getting it. Like, his self-awareness is really poor and his accountability is not great either. He said it in interviews several times. So I just think if it is true, I just think he's not with it. Like, he's not seeing the actual reality of the situation. Because, like you said, if you had anything about him, like several United players throughout the years, like I think Ollie, when he was at United, Spurs came in for him, and he was a substitute, obviously, and he wanted to go because he wanted to play first team football. And then Fergie basically said to him, "Look, you're super important to me. I understand you want to play first team football, but you're mega important. Please stay." And he ended up staying. And then we won trophies, etc. But nobody's telling Ten Hag that. Nobody's telling Maguire that. Ten Hag is basically said with his actions, "You're not.
Go.
You're not my captain because Bruno's been captain every single time he's played. You're not my first choice centre back. You're not my second choice. You're not my third choice. You're not my fourth choice centre back because I'm playing a left back over here." That should get into his head where he's like, "Look, you're not wanted. Are you not wanted? Are you not fit for this play style or this system at this club? Go play." And he could have a career. Like, if he goes somewhere else, he could have a decent career. He'd be picked for England because Southgate loves him. If he was playing regular team first team football, like he could have a decent career. I don't understand why he wouldn't. I just think he doesn't see the full picture. I think Italy. There you go.
I think they all need to sit him down. All the squad managers,
intervention
board directors, and just go, yeah, interventions. Harry. It's not working. It's really not working. It's like, but I know I'm good. I know I can play. Like, Harry, it's not going to work. I'm sorry. I know you love the club. I know you was captain, and I know you had a big price tag on your head, and I know you're also earning a lot of wages, but it's not working out, mate. You've got to go find some first team football, because if we want to bring Kim Min-jae in, not a chance is he getting a game. Varane, Lissandro, Lindelof, and Kim Min-jae.
Sure.
And Luke Shaw, who can play there as well. You ain't got a fucking prayer, mate. Jim Mack, I'm not going to read that out, but I appreciate the comedy value of it. It's a very funny comment. Felix is saying, unless we are getting Kane and Mount, Maguire is going nowhere. Tim1999 says, I respect Maguire, but I think he's deluded. Yeah, I think deluded is an understatement, to be honest. But, Dan, do you think United will end up taking a hit on this value? Obviously, we bought him for 80 million. How big of a hit will we have to take to sell him? Because he clearly don't want to leave, so he's going to leave kicking and screaming, which may drag his price down.
Yeah, that was, it was more painful than, with this transfers, the ownership thing. And then you suddenly hear Maguire saying that he doesn't want to leave. And where you also see the news coming out like Ten Hag wants him to go. And he's that kind of a guest whom you want to go as early as possible from your house, and he's saying that no, I want to stay here. So, but coming to the point here is, I think like he is just trying to prove himself, right? I mean, from his own perspective, he has been, with the price tag and all the hype he had, he brought with him. He want to stand for that again. He want to prove himself, that prove everyone else wrong. But at the end of the day, you know that you have seen from last so many years that that he has that. His ability is reached to the peak, and you know that he cannot perform well as compared to the other centre backs that we have. And he's just trying to compete with, showing others like he can do better job than Varane or Martinez or even Luke Shaw. But also at one more point I can see is that selling Maguire at this moment, for a standalone, alone selling him might not be possible. But only thing could be possible here is to when you include him for an exchange for another player. And that in itself could be a bit of a shame for himself. He might be thinking like they are just using me for an exchange deal. That just degrades his personality more. But from the Manchester United side of view is like he has the contract till 2025, and this is the right time to sell him to get as maximum profit as we can. But 80 million, I think at that point it was amount was really high. But at that point we thought maybe with the performance he had with Leicester, we could have rated him somewhere around 50-60 million. But other than that,
sold a dream, mate. Sold an absolute dream.
Yeah, that's and we all know that for every player we pay like 10-20 million extra. So that time, to some extent, that 80 million might have been as per Manchester United side, could be good, could be a right, the price. But at this moment, when we all know that his capabilities and we all have degraded him a lot, then I mean 30 million to 40 million would be the price we can get at the max for him.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Here's a stat for you. Like, I want you to guess. So I'll just give you a ballpark. Like, how many minutes in the Premier League you think Harry Maguire has played? Just for a comparison, Luke Shaw this season has played 2,555 minutes in the Premier League. How many minutes do you think Maguire has played?
Premier League.
In the Premier League.
500.
In the Premier League alone, yeah?
Yeah, Premier League alone.
700, 800, somewhere around that.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same.
Bang on. 759 minutes. That just show, like, if that doesn't show you, mate, like you're an £80 million player, you're captain, and you've played 750 minutes in the league compared to Luke Shaw, who's played 2,555. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's like a quarter of Premier League games, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair,
as
a captain.
Let me have a look. So it's 16 appearances. I want to. How many of them were starts? I can't imagine many of them. Let's have a look. You carry on, Nick.
Ash's in the chat. I was just saying, Ash is in the chat saying good evening. First of all, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Maguire, Jim Mack saying if Maguire stays, the reception he gets first game when he's brought on for the last 2 minutes should encourage him out the door. Felix is saying we are losing 8 homegrown players in Greenwood, Elanga, McTominay, Heaton, Henderson, Swansea, Williams and Jones, so we'll probably end up keeping Maguire. And Jim Mack is also replying saying good evening.
And the minutes you mentioned, Sam, I think in the coming season it may even go down if we buy another centre back. So if I am Maguire, I'll be talking to my agent and trying to convince him, get any deal. To maybe like a 6th, 7th in the Premier League table. Somewhere around that mid-table, and save yourself, save your own image.
He started. This is in the Premier League. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. 7 games he started. Yeah. The first 2 were the ones where we got battered off Brighton and Brentford, by the way. So just shows you. So 5 games after that he started in the entire league. Like, you need to go,
I remember
man.
seeing a stat saying, obviously prior from them games just mentioned, saying every game Maguire started we won or something like that, and I was like, mate, this is why that can be taken completely out of context. If you watch the guy play, he hinders our system significantly. So don't give me that.
It's like De Gea. The De Gea stat, isn't it? It's like, oh, he's the Golden Glove winner. He fucks our system up so badly when he's kicking the ball out. It's just like we just gift him possession to the opposition. But he's a Golden Glove winner. Yeah, is he a Golden Glove winner because he's a great goalkeeper, or is it because he's got Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane, and Casemiro in front of him? Yeah. Like, come on, sort it out.
I also think it's another symbol of giving out silly contracts and the captaincy armband way too quick.
Yeah.
That's why we're in this fucking mess at the minute. But it is what it is. I want to move it on to another drama, different drama. Yeah, still a drama. Manchester United are considering sending Mason Greenwood out on loan for the whole of next season. Italy, Spain, Turkey have been rumoured. We've already slightly discussed this, and I know your thoughts about what you want the player to do. #PrisonFC. But if we send him out on loan and he starts bagging a lot of goals, do you think there will be pressure from the fans to bring him back?
I think from the online internet fans, absolutely, because I've already seen it. The fucking deluded idiots just going, yeah, but he's a great goal scorer. All right, so we're just going to ignore the crimes that he's done and the horrific human being that he is just because we need goals in the team. I'm like, I don't know about you, but I'd rather not score goals and not have him in the team than score an extra 20 goals and have him in the team.
Yeah.
That's what I would rather
I'd rather have Vegas for a season.
It's like, if it's a choice in Vegas, I'm taking Vegas all day, every day. So people are fucking deluded and got no moral fiber whatsoever. So if we could load him and he bags a load of goals and then they want to buy him for a shit ton of money, win-win for us, isn't it? It's fantastic. We get rid of him, we get a shit ton of money, and we can go out and buy somebody else. It was win-win, because I don't want him near the club ever again. I don't care if we loan him, we sell him, we release him, whatever we need to do. Just make sure he never plays in a Manchester United shirt ever again. I don't want him near the team ever again. So whatever we need to do, just fucking do it.
Flex Felix saying Greenwood is Ravel Morrison 2.0, wasted talent. Yeah.
I agree with the point, but Ravel, as much as the issues that he had, he never did what Greenwood did to a point. So there was a lot of dodgy incidents, but he never raped a woman, did he? So
yeah. Dan, is this something you think pressure would mount up from fans? These fans you do see online, obviously you run the Twitter, don't you? So you see a lot more than I do, the kind of stuff over there, especially certain fan accounts. But yeah, do you think there'll be that kind of noise from fans if he starts bagging, top goal scorer Serie A? You can just see it, can't you?
Yeah, definitely, because now itself the fan base is to some extent have been divided with Greenwood in and Greenwood out. But it's not people are not saying it openly, but in their heart some of them want Greenwood to stay and play for United again. But sending him on loan at this point, if you consider all the areas, could be the best option, because if you sell him now, you might get somewhere around, not high as his talent. I have no objection about his talent and wise everything, but the thing what he has done doesn't suit us. I will never be able to come into that mindset where I can think like he can play again for us. So if you have to be, in this situation, we have to be selfish. As a club, we have to be selfish. Just send him on loan and hope he performs well. And the club for whom he's playing might want him to come on a permanent deal, and we get good price for that. But I would also not be sad if we sell him now itself.
Yeah, agreed. Right, last topic, lads, before we finish the show. Mason Mount, David Ornstein reporting. Ornstein with another one, reporting United and Chelsea in a standoff. United want to offer £50 million. Chelsea want 70 plus 10, which is fucking outrageous, if you ask me. Sam, I know you're a massive fan of Mason Mount. How long should we spend on this target?
If they want 80 million, that is ridiculous. Utter insanity.
How long should we negotiate for, though?
A couple of weeks at best. I do not do a Frankie de Jong saga on this fucking thing. Please don't. Yeah. I don't want to hear for the next 10 weeks hearing about Mason Mount's negotiation. I don't. He's not that good of a player to waste that amount of time on him. Like Frankie de Jong, it went on a bit. It went on too long in the end. What was it? 12 weeks.
Oh yeah.
But if 5-6 weeks to spend getting the Frankie de Jong deal, I'm like, right, that's worth it, because that guy is insanely good. Mason Mount isn't. Level. There's targets that are as good, if not better, than Mason Mount that you could go after to get to do the same amount for Mason Mount. I think if we pay over 60 million, we've had our pants pulled down. Like, it's stupid. We should not pay over 60 million for this guy. If Ten Hag wants him, go get him, but get a decent price. Do not overspend on this guy, because then that affects the other parts of the deals that we need to get, like a centre back, whatever Ten Hag is after. I think it's striker first. I think we get the striker in, pay for it, done, and then we can work out how much money we have left over, and obviously whatever we sell and stuff like that. But don't pay over 60, because I just don't think he's worth it at all.
Okay. With that in mind, Dan, who would you go and get if this deal falls through?
I think Rabiot for free deal could be a good option.
As a first teamer, do you think?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, definitely, because Eriksen is not giving us that complete 90 minutes in a game. So I think Rabiot can similarly do a job. We're looking for a player who can be. We don't want a player at that moment, because we already have Bruno to do that. All the creativity stuff. So we need a player who can be like 50% creative and 50% defense minded. So we are trying to find a player like that, and Rabiot can fit the bill very rightly, and that too with a free cost. Other than Rabiot, I don't see any other options suitable for us.
McAllister would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to mention him, but
Amrabat's been mentioned, hasn't he? I've seen Amrabat being kicking around, so he's been mentioned.
Good player. Very good player.
Yeah, but I think for Amrabat also, the talk is, the rumors are he will be still costing us around 60 million, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not seeing the right thing. But coming back to Mason Mount, if they are asking for 70 million, and then I would say just come out of that deal, because I want to just end this saga. I mean, and that mindset of United paying a lot of more money to the players who are not even costing that. And Mount is not a regular footballer, to be honest, for Chelsea, because last 20-15 games he has not been a regular starter for Chelsea. I mean, uh, he has played like 10-20 minutes, but not the whole 90 minutes, and he has been coming on in the second half. So, and for a player, I mean, at this moment, if I know that the player he is a very good player, but at this moment he's a bench player for Chelsea, and paying 70 million for a bench player of a Chelsea is not a right option. I mean, just quote 50, maximum 55 million. If you get him, that's fine. Otherwise, I would say no for this deal.
Just in like Mason Mount's defence, he has, I think towards the end of the season, he had a bit of a pelvic issue, or he had I think it was pelvis. That was a pelvis. Is that right?
Pelvic issue. Yeah.
Do you know why I've said pelvis? Is a meme, right? That's a pelvic bone, and it's got a wig of Elvis on, and it calls it pelvis. Nice. I don't know why that's just come out of my thing. Anyway, he had an injury. He had a significant injury for the second half of the season, which is why he only got the odd minutes here and there. Now, that alone, really, I agree with you, Dan. If you're going into negotiations, you're like, well, he's not played all season, really. We know there's a player there. We know what we're buying. We know he's got a decent age profile. But 70 plus 10 million, that's how much we was bidding for De Jong. Do you know what I mean? That's how much you get Moises Caicedo for, who's played a full season at Brighton, been one of the standout players in the league, and, you know, can function as an 8, as a 6, whatever, is versatile as well. So how are you telling me that Chelsea are worth 70 plus 10? Like, just doesn't make sense. Also, I think they're doing that to, like, you see it in any negotiating. Start it really high, put the bar really high, and then knock it down slightly from there. So it seems like you're doing them a deal. I think that's what they're doing.
It's classic, isn't it?
Because if they just, because if they say 50 million, they're just going to go, oh, we'll give you 45.
Yeah,
like,
if you want to sell something, you always go in at an unreasonable cost, because then when they knock you down, you just get the price you wanted in the first place anyway. Like, so say I sell quite a lot of like hype beast clothing and stuff like that. I'll always stick it up on like a 20% markup, because people will come in. They always come in and lowball you. So if they come in at, like, say I stick it 80 quid and they come in and go, I'll give you 40. I'm like, nah, I'll do you 70. So I'll do you 50. I'll do you 60. Cool. Yeah, sold. That's all I wanted in the first place anyway. Yeah. So it's just like,
we United, you like fucking add-ons, and we'll give you a Virgin Internet contract,
English tax and all the other bullshit.
Bollocks. Yeah. Look, I will happily. I'm a big fan of Mason Mount in terms of how we would fit in our system, and I know exactly why Erik ten Hag wants him. But if you're going to spend £70 million on Mason Mount, go and get Caicedo instantly. Yeah. Go and pay the extra 10 million for Caicedo, because he is a player, mate. He is someone that I really want, and I think he could eventually take over Casemiro when Casemiro thing is, but he's also could play alongside him as well. He's that good. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We've got a couple of comments. Abibe Deliso says, I want Sheikh Jassim to United. I need Mason Mount, Sadio Mane, Kane, Kim Min-jae, and Neymar. It's a very random basket, but
Mane is never coming to United. It's never fucking happening.
Nah.
Never happening.
Won't happen. I love him as a player. I hate the fact he played for Liverpool, but Mane is top. Yeah. Shah Sam, if Ten Hag really wants him, I see us overpaying for him. Potentially, saw what happened with Anthony as well. Yeah. And then DL saying Caicedo, Mount in, Van der Beek, McTominay, Fred out. I don't see him getting both. And Connor Crawley says, did Manchester United get players in yet?
Yeah, I don't see McTominay and Fred going. I see one or the other. One or the other. Yeah. Flex Felix is saying, I'd take Kimmich if he's available. We are never getting Kimmich out of Bayern Munich. It's never fucking happening.
If he's available for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Kimmich is top level.
Yeah, he's never.
And also, it wouldn't be like a replacement for Casemiro. Very similar age profiles, I think, aren't they? So, I don't know. I don't see that. Look, we discussed a lot. Mason Mount, Mason Greenwood, Harry Maguire, ownership situation, the whole works today. We've gone through absolutely everything. So if you've enjoyed the show, guys, make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a Real Red Ultra, the new video dropped yesterday about Amad Diallo, his rise to fame, and how he can fit in Erik ten Hag's system next season. So make sure you check that out. And the members have enjoyed that video, so click the join button next to the notification bell. You get a badge next to your name, a chance to feature on the show, and exclusive content every single week. So, yeah, with that in mind, thanks for coming on, lads.
Yeah, I'll put a link.
One last.
Go on, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe one last question. Maybe even the viewers, the people in the chat can get involved. Which is bigger? I mean, the conference, winning a conference league, or the EFL Cup?
EFL, the Carabao Cup.
Carabao.
That you're alluding to. It's weird because I think the significance to West Ham, because they haven't won a trophy in so long, obviously means to them they're not winning the Carabao Cup. But in terms of prestige, I don't know. It's hard,
big.
that.
There's more history in the League Cup than there is in the Conference League.
Yeah, because it's a new thing, in it. So that's what I'd say. But they're not far away, to be honest with you. I just feel like if United won the Europa Conference, everyone's like, we don't give a fuck. Europa Conference, are you mad?
By the way,
we don't care.
By the way, West Ham have won more trophies than Arsenal. I'm just saying.
European trophies than Arsenal.
Just saying. I put a link to the membership in the chat. I've pinned it at the top, so if you want to click that, you can go straight to the membership page and join us on the membership exclusive. We got one more spot left for the 11, and then we're picking somebody out of the hat to come and do a show with us. So if you want that spot, go and grab it.
Absolutely. Check us out on socials. All the graphics on the right hand side is Twitter for regular transfer updates and updates on the ownership situation. Make sure you check that out. Instagram as well, aesthetically pleasing visuals. You get reels on there, news stories, stuff like loads of stuff, and TikTok as well. You get loads of clips from there. So check us out on all three platforms, and we will see you guys tomorrow for the end of season review. Do not miss that. It's going to be absolutely mega. We're going to take a look at our predictions at the start of the season, go through some of them. And yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. So come and join us. Be around 3:00 tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Take care. Have a lovely weekend, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Cheers.